Next to go is Dr. Shilpa Maled. She's an anterior segment surgeon and an ocular surface oncologist from Joshi Eye Hospital, and she's going to teach us a very good teaching pearl. On to you.
Is my screen visible, ma'am?
Yes, yes.
At the outset, I would like to thank the entire ARC team for giving me this opportunity. Phakic IOLs are has become a norm.
Your video, click on your video.
I will start. So just before I start my video, phakic IOLs have become a norm for the LASIK results, and soon I fear that we may have another pandemic of cataracts associated with the phakic IOLs. So let me begin with my first video. This is in 38-year-old patient who is back. Here you can see there is a posterior subcapsular cataract, and this is an older version of phakic IOL which does not have a central flow, and there is a peripheral iridectomy somewhere here. You will see in the next few seconds. So just we have to nudge the phakic IOL with the help of a Sinskey's hook, and it is very easy to explant it into the anterior chamber so that the plate haptics are resting onto the iris, and then you just have to catch hold of the haptics with the help of forceps and just pull it out. It just slides nicely out of the anterior chamber. Here we have to be very careful protecting the corneal endothelium with the viscoelastic substance. The capsular rhexis, because these are younger patients, is very elastic and better to complete with the help of microrhexis forceps. Once the rhexis is completed, the procedure is pretty simpler, as maximum times the cataract associated with the phakic IOLs is softer in nature. So after taking out the cataract, a cortical aspiration is being done with the help of bimanual irrigation aspiration. I had planned a 3-piece IOL implantation in this patient, and which goes ahead as I had planned. Here you can note the peripheral iridectomy. And after the procedure, patient was happy. But life is not simpler in all such cases. All we had, studied evolution of phakic IOLs, and I never thought that I would be able to see some kind of an older generation phakic IOL in my entire tenure. And I came across with a patient who's a 48-year-old, presented to us with an corneal edema, which was been taken care. The corneal edema was stabilized with the help of hypoosmotic agents, and then once the corneal edema was stabilized, it was taken up for the surgery. I guess you can see artisan kind of phakic IOL. I made a sclerocorneal tunnel, opened it up. With the help of 2 Sinskey's hook, I freed one side of, or I disinclavated one side of haptics of the phakic IOL. But then it was very difficult for me to disinclavate the other side of the phakic IOL. The reason being the phakic IOL was more mobile now because the other side is being freed. So here came to my rescue was IOL holding forceps, with which I could release the adhesions and take off the phakic IOL out. The pupil has become small in this case. Despite of me putting an intracameral adrenaline, I did not have a good luck to have a pupillary dilatation. But cataract was again a very softer in nature. The cataract was taken out, the cortical aspiration was done. Here again I had planned a 3-piece IOL implantation. Now with the help of good red glow, we all can see the Descemet's is not that good. It is going into decompensation. So with the help of 8mm Trifine, I had marked the cornea, and with the help of a reverse Sinskey hook, I am trying to strip the Descemet's membrane. In such cases, the Descemet's is a little more loosened, so it comes off very easily. After completion of and after pre-mobilization of the Descemet's, I take it out and check for any remnants of the Descemet's membrane. Before I started the case, I had dissected out a donor lenticule. And with the help of 26 gauge needle, I insert the donor lenticle and I put it in place with the help of air injection, and I iron out the graft. At the end, I cauterize the conjunctiva and place a bandage contact lens for the healthy epithelium to regenerate. So here I end up my marathon surgery. This is the longest time which I had operated for any patient.
Very nice videos, Dr. Shilpa. So we stop sharing. I would take some questions. Dr. Ramurthy is not there. Okay, Dr. Partha. Now, okay. What? Okay,
Yeah, I'll
Ramurthy is
tell
there.
why Dr. Ramurthy was not there, because I think it was his case that Shilpa managed, the second one. No,
now,
jokes aside,
yeah.
these cases, have been done
No,
by...
the question I'm asking you, Partha, to answer is, this is, thankfully, I'm the public prosecutor here. This particular, nowadays, we do not get cataracts because of the central hole which is there. But having said that, what are the very essential tips you would want to give to the attendees about steps wherein you need to be careful not to get the anterior lens, capsule damage happening?
Yeah. So the first case that she showed is the ICL without the central flow. So one very good point that she highlighted is, while taking out the leading haptic or the leading part of the lens, ICL, so the trailing part should still be in the sulcus. Thereby, the projection of the lens is directed towards the incision port. So then you can pull it out. But if the whole lens is in the anterior chamber, is outside the pupil, then what happens? The lens is staying flat and the grip on that lens is difficult. So that's a very nice point that she highlighted. In the second case, which definitely was a very challenging case with the corneal edema and doing a triple procedure for this patient. So one or two small things that I would say is, the disenclavation of the haptics is very important. People who have done the artisan lens would know the technique of the disenclavation also, as is quite true for the enclavation. So the disenclavation requires a good hold of the optic of the lens through the main port. And then from the side port, it has to be disenclavated. So that technique is important. Otherwise, the iris frays and it can tear badly. And of course, as you said, that the disenclavation of the second haptic is more difficult, because at that time the lens is mobile. So the grip on the optic of the lens is most important. That's number one. Number two is about the way that you removed it. That was absolutely fine. The other thing is, if one is planning a phaco, then the first port or the first incision through which you took it out has to be sutured, and then go temporarily do a phaco emulsification and with a closed and a tight chamber, and then come out. And of course, you had a dissect to do, so thereby you definitely have done the right way of doing the dissect and an SICS of removing the lens as well.
But you didn't suture the main wound, no? When you did a dissect, shouldn't you have done that? You could have had a lenticular displacement.
My wound was pretty smaller, ma'am. It was hardly 5 millimeters. It was not even 5 millimeters, because it was hardly an S2 softer cataract. So it was a self-sealing incision.
5 millimeters,
so
Shilpa, it would be more than 5, because the width of the optic is actually 6.5. So that would be more than 5. And these are
sutured your central wound. You are lucky that you got away with the flap, the dissect flap being in place, lenticule being in place. Any other? I think we all know that there is nothing extra to be done. Yes.
Oh, Partha has covered almost all the points. I mean, yes. I would endorse what he said about explantation of the phakic IOL. That is, I don't even bring out the entire leading optic. Just with the side port, just nudge one plate haptic alone and go in with the lens holding forceps, and then the whole lens comes out. And you usually fill in the anterior chamber with a cohesive viscoelastic so that you have a deep anterior chamber. Other thing I noticed was, maybe the first case, especially, I would have made a smaller rhexis, because your rhexis was quite large, and I thought a little uncontrolled, because these patients are quite young and reasonably highly myopic. So if you want the advantage of a hydrophobic acrylic, you want a clear capsule or not be doing a yak capsulotomy soon enough. And as far as the iris clip lens is concerned, I think you managed it well. And obviously, it was a soft cataract. Since you didn't have to do any phaco, you could manage it through the primary incision alone. But in case phaco was necessary, as Partha said, I would have closed down the first incision and gone through which would be superior sclerocorneal, and done the phaco through a temporal clear corneal incision. And just in case, sometimes, because both of us started out with these phakic intraocular way back in 2004 and did these lenses for some time and gone through all this, sometimes just removing the lens itself clears up the cornea. So I would like to know the specular microscopic number. If it's even in the range of 800,000, I would have just removed the lens and seen if the cornea clears up. And sometimes it does happen, and you could have postponed the corneal procedure for a little while later. Obviously, if it was quite an edematous cornea and it was not clearing up, since you said it cleared up with your medical measures that you took, I might have just done a removal of the lens and waited for doing the cornea procedure for a while later.
This
Otherwise,
patient
a
had
nice presentation.
actually 700 counts, but has
We're not able to hear us, so we shall now go on
large
to.
on specular microscope. The other I had done only explantation.
Thank you, Dr.